Hello, happy Halloween, and welcome to HalloWellman. I'm your host, David, and since today is actually Halloween, we have a special Halloween episode for you. 2 years ago, we screened and ranked every Friday the 13th movie, and today we'll do the same with our old friend Freddy Krueger and the Nightmare on Elm Street series. We meant to do this episode for you last year, but we were dealing with invasive chipmunks, faulty software, and self-doubt at the time, and almost all that's fixed now, so better late than never. If you include the crossover movie Freddy vs. Jason, and we certainly do, we have a total of 9 movies in our ranking today. I rescreened the 7 I had already seen, plus the 2 that were new to me in chronological order while taking copious notes. Since my order is different, it may seem like I'm complaining about stuff that may not have actually happened yet, but I'm sure that you'll be able to follow. It's not too hard to follow. And this is kind of set up like one of our Which Was Worse episodes, and in that I'll be giving you the bulleted notes I took while watching, and you know, those will be uncensored and now a year old, and that's always a rush. We will begin with the worst, as always, and in this case, the worst is the very first sequel, which was rushed to theaters only a year after the original made its impact, and that's never a wise decision. I should probably mention why I'm dressed like Adam Sandler's character from his film Spaceman. Like no one, like any of you saw that. And I have my spider here too. And this is Courtney's actual stuffed spider, not one of her live spiders. Speaking of Courtney, she's a big Adam Sandler fan, so for Halloween today at work, the whole department dressed up like characters from their favorite Adam Sandler movies, which means I only had 2 to choose from because I only like 2 Adam Sandler movies, Spaceman and Uncut Gems. My friend Isaac was Uncut Gems. He did a great job. I was the Spaceman. So that's the explanation for this getup. Here we go. Let's start with the bottom. Number 9, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, 1985, rated R, 87 minutes. IMDb says 5.4. Directed by Jack Shoulder. The body count is 10. I'm going to give you some other films directed by some of these directors because you probably haven't heard of them. Also directed by Jack Shoulder, The Hidden and Alone in the Dark. Here we go, and remember these are bulleted points here. Special appearance by Clu Gulager, love that. High school is an absolutely terrible place. In this movie and in all movies, and I think in real life. An unpacking montage in an 87-minute movie. The basement of this house is insane. The furnace looks like it could heat a factory. There's a sadistic gym coach in this that should be in prison. There's a shower scene in this movie that was very cringy and solidified my prison idea for the gym coach. Freddy tries to get a teen to kill for him. What happened to the whole dream thing? Here's a quote. Animals just don't explode for no reason. Clu Gulager. He's a genius. The singing jump rope girls always terrified me. I don't care how many times they used it. Did Freddy kidnap and kill all 20 kids at the same time? Is that why he's driving a school bus? Parents hosting a party where teenagers are drinking and the parents leave the party to go and have sex. I blame the parents for everything that happens in all of these movies. This is what happens when you make a sequel 1 year after the original. This was nothing but a money grab. No real ending, just a setup for the third movie, which was no surprise at all, even in 1985. Next, number 8, Wes Craven's New Nightmare from 1994. Rated R, 112 minutes. IMDb 6.4. Directed by Wes Craven. I'm not going to go through his because he's a good director, but not this one. Body count 7. All right, see if you buy this because I didn't. We have Heather Langenkamp as Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund as Robert Englund, and even Wes Craven attempts to act as Wes Craven, and he fails. Turns out this film is set in a world where the Nightmare on Elm Street movies exist as movies, and now a real-life demon is using the fictional Freddy to kill all new people. No. How on earth did REM allow a character to sing Losing My Religion in this movie? How? How much did that cost? A character strolls into a morgue to identify a body, and there are people being cut open and bodies, and they're all over the place. Is that how our morgues are run? Dan Doherty from Deadwood is in this. It did not help. John Saxon as John Saxon. Where will it all end? There's a kid actor in this that's absolutely terrible. I hate to say that about kids or actors or kid actors, but it is the truth. Speaking of not being able to act, Wes Craven cannot act at all. You'd think that a director who has directed some of the great actors and actresses ever would have picked up at least some tips along the way and could at least fake it. He cannot. He cannot even play himself convincingly. A script is shown on the screen that's the actual script of the movie, and they're reading it. We have vomit, we have multiple vomits, and there's way too much tongue in this entire series, way too much. And how many times are they going to have Freddy blow up? At the end, Heather Langenkamp gets a script that's the script to this movie. It's word for word. Get it? This was some self-serving masturbatory nonsense from start to finish. Next, number 7, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, 1989, R, 89 minutes, IMDb 5.1, directed by Stephen Hopkins, body count 5. Also by Hopkins, Predator 2, Judgment Night, Blown Away, and Lost in Space. Lost in Space was terrible. Blown Away, was that the Nicole Eggert Blown Away? Or the Tommy Lee Jones Blown Away? Great. England, once again with top billing and over the title, opens with an unnecessary shower scene. Of course, it can't be part of this genre in the 80s without one, sad to say. Unbelievably unrealistic high school graduation scene. I've been to high school graduations, and they are not run like that. Really creepy birth/baby sequence. I've been to 2 births, and they were not that bad. Broken record, but these parents are the worst parents in the history of film. I don't know how, but he's back. That's a quote. And I hear you. I don't know either. Freddy's mom was a nun who was assaulted by the lunatics at the asylum? Yeah, that'll do it. Other than the dream sequences, this one's kind of boring. Can't help but think that Freddy would have had so many ample opportunities to get me because I just love to sleep. It seems like his victims kill him again, but we know that can't be true. Jacob, the kid in this, is just as creepy, if not more creepy, than Freddy. Baby Freddy goes back inside nun mom and then claws his way out. Why did you do that, Freddy? Is any of this her fault? That's just unwarranted. And yet another fake happy ending, so lazy for this series and this genre for that matter. They bring that back. Oh, and it's happy. And then no. Okay, we know it's not going to happen. Number 6, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, 1991. R, 89 minutes, 4.7. Directed by Rachel Talalay, body count of 3. Also directed by Rachel, Tank Girl, which I liked, and Ghost in the Machine, which I don't remember. Why does a 90s movie have such an 80s soundtrack? If you're thinking, it's only 1991, that's not an excuse. This starts with a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. The Bible isn't good enough for part 6. Wait, this takes place 10 years in the future? So 2001? Where were my flying cars then? At least they now acknowledge that all the kids in Springwood are dead and the parents are suffering from psychosis. Well-deserved psychosis, if you ask me. Freddy is the Wicked Witch? How did they not get sued? Never liked Breckin Meyer. Always liked Yaphet Kotto. Is this just about Freddy getting a new Dream Master again? That was only 2 movies ago. Springwood appears to have 1890s style industrial pollution for some ungodly reason. Good God, Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr are in this. Why? Why was that done? In this version of the story, Freddy has a daughter who was taken away from him. That makes sense. There was a scene where Freddy dragged his razor fingers across a chalkboard. And to me, that was the scariest part of the movie. They brought Johnny Depp back to shoot a fake anti-drug PSA, the old egg brain thing. How much did that cost? There's a video game sequence in this mess that goes on for way too long. I realize it's a sign of the times that when it was made, but it was still awfully long for what it did. This may have been written while it was being shot. I bet there was a lot of, okay, let's do that during this production. Yaphet Kotto fights Freddy Krueger? How do I not remember this? What? What, this one was one of the new ones? No wonder I don't remember seeing it. Score 1 for my addled brain. Son of 1,000 maniacs was chanted to Freddy at school when he was a kid. He should have killed all those kids as well. Fratricide. There's fratricide. Daughter's line when shoving a lit pipe bomb into Freddy's chest. Happy Father's Day. And right before he explodes, Freddy breaks the fourth wall and says, "Kids." Last line in the film is Freddy's dead, and the end credit sequence features Freddy's greatest hits. So to speak, it looked like this was definitely the end. It was meant to be the last one, and I guess it sort of is, even though there were two more. Kind of. Number 5, Freddy vs. Jason, made in 2003, rated R, 97 minutes, IMDb 5.7, directed by Ronnie Yu. The body count is 22, which is shared. Also directed by Ronnie Yu, The Bride with White Hair, Bride of Chucky, and probably more films with bride in the title. Here we go. Exposition featuring more tongue. Flashbacks? There are flashbacks? Really? It took all of 1 minute and 33 seconds for them to show some gratuitous nudity. Jason's mother brings him back because the children on Elm Street have been naughty and his work isn't done, and what? So happy Jason is killing a lot of deserving teenagers, especially the first guy he kills in this. What a douche. Dumbass cop shows up at a crime scene and sees 3 screaming girls, one of whom is naked and covered with blood, and he actually asks, "Do you need any help?" Blood Girl's spot-on reply is, "What the fuck do you think?" She's right. Why so much exposition? Who do they think was watching this? I prefer Jason to Freddy. He's just more justified in his actions in my mind. My favorite scene is when Jason is confronted by 2 assholes in a cornfield. He twists one's head around and machetes the other. Deserved. Both Jason and Freddy are better than the cops and the parents in this series. Wait, is that the point of all this? More tongue? There's more tongue. Actual dialogue. How is that possible? Reply, dialogue, anything is possible. That's how they try to get away with all this. Style points for Jason cutting a guy in half. Total half. If cannabis produced the kinds of hallucinations portrayed in films, it would cost $1 million an ounce. Jason was tormented and bullied at camp. Bullies deserve Jason. Some of Freddy's lines in this are gross and racist. Again, unfortunately, sign of times. Jason kills Freddy with Freddy's own razor hand arm, and Freddy is then decapitated by the final girl with Jason's machete. This crossover film ends with Jason walking out of Camp Crystal Lake carrying Freddy's severed head, and as he walks by, Freddy breaks the fourth wall again, looks in the camera, and winks at us. Okay, I get it. Number 4, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 2010, rated R, 95 minutes, IMDb 5.2, directed by Samuel Bayer, body count of 7. Also directed by Samuel Bayer, the music videos for Smells Like Teen Spirit and Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Quote, I can sleep. I just don't want to. And I don't want to watch, and yet here we are. Pre-title sequence includes a guy cutting his own throat in a diner. Harsh. Connie Britton? Oh, say it ain't so. There's a mother-daughter combo in this movie, and the actresses are, I swear, at most 8 years apart. Have horror film set directors ever been in a real attic or a real basement? Jackie Earle Haley is excellent and a great choice to play Freddy, but this is all kind of unnecessary. There's so many boys climbing into so many girls' second-story bedrooms in this series. Quote, if you die in your sleep, you die for real. Please. We're going to redo the hand between the legs in the bathtub bit? Ugh, of course we are. I still prefer all of the old-style practical effects to this. More tongue and more licking. Seriously. Springwood actually does have 1890s factories, come to find out. Quote, why didn't you go to the police? The kid is right. I mean, that's a valid question. And I'm tired of all of this, what if I'm the only one nonsense in this series. Jackie Earle Haley's makeup in this is tremendous. Quote, how's that for a wet dream? That line again? Do we need to recycle everything in this series and another fake happy ending? Come on, to what end? Connie Britton, you deserve better. Number 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master from 1988, R, 93 minutes, IMDb 5.6, directed by Rennie Harlin, body count 7. Also directed by Rennie Harlin, Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, The Long Kiss Goodnight, and Deep Blue Sea. Starts with a Bible verse. Yikes, Rennie. Englund once again has top billing. He must have had a good agent. One of the stars of this is named Tuesday Night. Is this an adult film? Once again, and I can't stress this enough, high school sucks. The dog's name in this is Jason, and he pisses fire. Nude girl inside the kid's waterbed? Weren't you suspicious of that, high school boy? How would she breathe? Nope, just Freddy. How's that for a wet dream? Wonder if they will recycle that joke. Could they make these parents any worse? I mean, really. Sorry you and your tennis pals torched this guy and now he's after me. Right? 100% correct. Not every film in this series is a winner, but they all did an excellent job with the nightmare sequences. Houses must be dirt cheap in Springwood, Ohio, with all the dead kids and stuff and the murder. So Freddy makes Alice the Dream Master since the last of the original kids are now dead, and he now needs to bring her kids to him in nightmares. That actually makes sense as far as these stories go. Maybe that's why it's up here. The pizza with the kids' faces and the meatballs is absolutely wonderful. And there's a roach motel sequence that makes you feel terrible for the roaches that are trapped in them, if that's possible. The kids claw their way out of Freddy's body in another wild scene made without the use of CGI. So Freddy is dead again? Rest in hell. Number 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, 1987, R, 96 minutes, IMDb 6.7, directed by Chuck Russell, body count of 6, also directed by Chuck Russell, The Blob, not the original, The Mask, the original. Patricia Arquette, Larry Fishburne, Dick Cavett, and Zsa Zsa Gabor? Yes, please. Fishburne plays the psych hospital's orderly. He appears to be the only orderly in the entire hospital. Freddy's home, little girl speaks it, and that whole, Freddy's home, no me gusto. More terrible parents, more trashy moms. That's this series. Gotta love a psychiatric hospital that allows some patients to freely roam around, unsupervised, everywhere, while others are in solitary confinement. There's a rotting banquet with a pig that comes to life and snarls. I like that. Again, praise for all the quality practical effects that are used in most of these films. Dick Cavett is here to morph into Freddy before killing Jennifer by shoving her head into a television. I love Dick Cavett. Wouldn't this hospital be shut down after so many patient suicides in such a short time? You are the last of the Elm Street children. At least this one attempts to make sense. Again, gratuitous nurse nudity, yikes. And how old was the boy in that scene? Look, middle school at best. Heather Langenkamp is back. She was a teenager in the original, and now 3 years later, she's an intern at a psychiatric hospital. How does that all work? She is later relieved of duty. She's an intern. What duties do is maybe it's different in hospitals. All right. What a rush. That's this movie. Andrew's favorite line from the entire series. Love the effects of the kid's head poking out of Freddy's chest, kind of along the lines of the meatballs on the pizza. The old false happy ending, yawn. You're better than this. And here we go. You knew this. Number 1, Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. R, 91 minutes. IMDb, they figured it out. 7.4. Directed by Wes Craven. Told you. Body count of 4. Also directed by Wes Craven, Scream, The Hills Have Eyes, The Last House on the Left, The People Under the Stairs, Red Eye, and one of the garbage ones on this. No surprise that this was going to be at the top of our list. It's the first and it's the best by all accounts. John Saxon, Johnny Depp, with an introducing credit. Love that. Robert Englund is billed as Fred Krueger in this film that opens with Fred crafting his iconic blade gloves. Quote, you won't need a stretcher up there, you'll need a mop. That's a good one. Horny, borderline rapey guys were all over this genre and this series. Awful, gross. They deserve Freddy, they deserve Jason, they deserve Michael Myers. Heavy-handed crucifix incorporation in this film. Fantastic, again, broken record, practical effects throughout. Tina's death on the ceiling is pretty sweet. Did that with the gimbal. The acting, including Depp's, though, is pretty rough. 80s voyeurism on display as we get a lingering bathtub shot from between Nancy's legs. Wonder if they'll recycle that bit. Convenient trellis leading up to your teenage daughter's bedroom is convenient. These parents had it coming, yes? They suck. Maybe mom's an alcoholic because she participated in a brutal murder? Ever think of that? And where the hell is this town? The weather is always perfect. This is Indiana? Ohio? What did I say? I don't remember. Indiana, Stranger Things. 20 kids from the same neighborhood were abducted and killed by Fred. Is there a police department or just a drunken John Saxon? They put Johnny Depp in a midriff. And he does have a great bed death scene. He's listening to it's fantastic. You've seen it. The tongue out of the phone receiver was brilliant. Little did we know that there would be more tongue in this series than Katz's Deli. This gets a little Nancy Stars in a horror version of Home Alone at times, but it's still the best of the bunch. Well, that's a wrap for our Halloween episode and our attempt to rank all 9 films in the Nightmare on Elm Street universe. We hope you join us again next time as we break down our recent 63 and 63 project and give you our top 10 and bottom 5 of those 2 months of film. Until then, take care. I guess I should exit out of the bulkhead and go walk silently through the neighborhood. No need glasses for that. All right. Take care.